This October, Social Security announces what's projected to be its biggest raise in 3 years, 3.8%. And for some retirees, that raise will quietly cost them money, not despite the increase, because of it. Before this video ends, you'll know the one number to add up before December that tells you which side of that line you're on. One thing first, this is education, not advice for your specific situation. For that, talk to a licensed professional who can see your full picture. For Social Security's first 40 years, your benefit check never grew on its own. If prices went up at the grocery store, your check stayed exactly the same until Congress passed a special law to raise it. That changed in 1972, when Congress wrote automatic raises into the program. Starting in 1975, benefits began adjusting every year, on their own, tied to inflation. That yearly raise has a name: the cost of living adjustment, COLA. The mechanics are simple. Every fall, the government compares consumer prices from July, August, and September against the same 3 months a year earlier. That difference becomes your raise. It's announced in October and it lands in your January check. No vote, no debate, just math. And this year, that math is pointing to a bigger number than we've seen in a while, after a 2.8% raise for 2026. The projection for 2027 has climbed to 3.8%, which would be the biggest increase since 2023. Sounds like good news, and mostly it is. But a bigger cola has a shadow side, and it comes from two other numbers in this system that were never designed to move with it. That's where the trap is. Let's put real dollars on it. The Senior Citizens League, the group whose COLA forecasts are watched most closely, currently projects 3.8% for 2027. The official number comes in October. If that projection holds, this is what it does to the average check. Right now, the average Social Security benefit is about $1,938 a month. A 3.8% raise takes it to just over $2,011. That's about $74 more every month, almost $900 more over a full year. For a married couple where both collect benefits, call it roughly $1,800 a year in new income, using average benefits if the projection holds. Real money, money that inflation has already been eating from the other side. By one estimate, the average benefit has lost about 13.7% of its buying power since 2010. So you'd think every dollar of that raise is yours to keep. Hold on to that $900. Now watch what happens when it lands next to a line the government drew in 1984 and never moved again. If you watched our episode on Social Security taxes, you know where this is going. If you didn't, here's the 60-second version, because the COLA is exactly what springs this trap. Whether your benefits get taxed depends on a test the IRS calls provisional income. The formula: your adjusted gross income plus any tax-exempt interest plus half of your Social Security benefits. Cross $25,000 as a single filer, $32,000 as a couple, and part of your benefits becomes taxable. Cross $34,000 or $44,000 for a couple, and up to 85% of your benefits can be taxed. Now, the dates. Those first thresholds were set in 1984. The second set was added in 1993. And in all the years since, through every recession, every boom, every wave of inflation, they have never been adjusted, not once in 4 decades. Look at what that setup does over time. Your benefit is indexed to inflation. It climbs every single year. That's the whole point of the COLA. The line that decides whether those benefits get taxed is frozen. One number rises automatically, the other never moves. Every raise walks you a few steps closer to a line that's been standing still since Ronald Reagan's first term. You can watch it happening in the data. In 1994, just over 12% of all Social Security benefits was taxable. By 2022, it was more than 38%, tripled, and Congress never passed a new tax to do it. 40 years of cost of living raises did it, pushing more and more people over a line that never flinched. So, what does that look like in one household's checkbook? Let me show you with two people you might recognize. Meet John and Susan, both 68, retired in Ohio. A hypothetical couple, but their math is real. Together, they collect $30,000 a year in Social Security. They also pull about $28,800 from John's IRA. Run the test: 28,800 of income plus half their benefits, 15,000. Provisional income, 43,800. $200 under the $44,000 line. Safe, barely. Now give them the projected raise. 3.8% on $30,000 is $1,140 of new benefits. Half of that, $570, counts toward the test. New provisional income, 44,370. They just crossed, and above that line, every extra dollar of income can pull up to 85 cents of their Social Security into taxable territory. The raise they celebrated in January came back for them on their April tax return. Now, to be fair, there's a cushion right now. Through 2028, most retirees 65 and older get an extra $6,000 deduction, 12,000 for a couple, which softens exactly this kind of hit. But that deduction is temporary. It expires after 2028. The frozen thresholds don't expire. They just keep standing there, while your checks keep growing toward them. And this is still the smaller of the two traps. The second one doesn't show up in April. It waits 2 full years, and then it comes for your Medicare premium. If you're on Medicare, your monthly premium isn't the same for everyone. Earn past a certain point, and the government adds a surcharge on top. It's called IRMAA, the Income Related Monthly Adjustment Amount. And IRMAA has a strange memory. It doesn't look at what you earn this year. It looks at your tax return from 2 years ago. So the income you report for 2026, a year inflated by your COLA, your withdrawals, maybe a Roth conversion, comes back to set your Medicare premium in 2028. The 2026 numbers. The standard Part B premium is $202.90 a month. The first surcharge kicks in above $109,000 of income for a single filer, $218,000 for a couple. And unlike the tax brackets you're used to, this is not a gradual slope. It's a cliff. Go $1 over that line, and a couple pays the full surcharge, about $2,300 more per year for both spouses combined. $1, $2,300. Now, to be precise, these income lines do drift upward with general inflation each year, but they judge the total income on your return, benefits, withdrawals, gains, everything from 2 years back. A fat cola raises the floor of that total, and $1 over is all it takes. There is an appeal, a form called SSA 44, but it only works for life events like retiring or losing a spouse. A Roth conversion that pushed you over. That doesn't qualify. You just pay. So, the raise arrives in January. The tax test happens in April, and the Medicare bill can land 2 years later. Which brings us to the number I promised you at the start. The number to add up before December is your own provisional income for this year. Take your adjusted gross income, add any tax exempt interest, add half of what Social Security paid you this year. That's it, 3 lines on a napkin. Then look at where you stand against the 2 lines, 32 and 44,000 for couples, 25 and 34 for singles. From there, 3 moves, all free. 1. Find your distance. If you're thousands away from a line on either side, the cola changes nothing for you. Enjoy the race. Most of the worry out there simply doesn't apply to most people. 2. If you're close, you control the timing. The cola isn't up to you, but IRA withdrawals, Roth conversions, and capital gains usually are. Sliding income from December into January can keep 1 year under the line instead of nudging 2 years over it. And if you're anywhere near the Medicare thresholds, remember the 2 year memory. This year's decisions are 2028's premium. 3. Circle mid October. That's when the guessing ends and Social Security announces the real 2027 number. Take the percentage, run it against your benefit, redo the napkin math with real figures. 10 minutes once a year. That's the whole game. Know your distance, control your timing, update in October. The cola is not the villain here. It's one of the best features of Social Security. Your benefit is one of the very few incomes in America that automatically keeps pace with inflation. The trap is the lines that were nailed down in 1984 and 1993 and left there so that a bigger check means a bigger slice within reach of the taxman. Now you know where those lines are and you know your distance from them. That already puts you ahead of most people opening that October announcement. If this cleared things up, the next episode digs into another rule most retirees meet the hard way. Subscribe so it reaches you first. And tell us in the comments, when the cola lands in January, does yours feel like a raise or like catching up?